The political ground is shifting beneath Britain's feet. The King's quiet gesture has become a thunderclap. And as Labour reels from scandal and rebellion, Reform UK is rising from the ashes. Backed, it seems, by the most powerful moral figure in the nation. The once untouchable Prime Minister now stands isolated, accused of arrogance and betrayal, facing a storm of public fury that grows stronger by the hour. What began as a private meeting has turned into a national reckoning, and the consequences are only just beginning. The silence from Buckingham Palace is deafening, while the Prime Minister's words echo through every news broadcast and social platform. The King has retreated to Sandringham, offering no statement, no clarification and no denial. Yet that silence speaks louder than any royal decree across the nation. People are beginning to wonder, is the monarch's calm composure a quiet sign of approval, or the stillness before an even greater storm? Inside Parliament, the tension is unbearable. Labour MPs pace the corridors of Westminster in disbelief, their confidence shattered. Some whisper that Starmer has crossed a sacred line. Others privately admit that his furious attack on the monarchy has become political suicide. The old rule of British politics, you never challenge the crown, has been broken. And now the consequences are rolling in like a tidal wave. Within hours of the leak, Labour's internal structure began to crack. Senior cabinet members have gone silent. Rachel Reeves, usually the voice of the government's financial policy, has refused to publicly defend her Prime Minister. Anonymous insiders say even she believes the situation is beyond repair. Members of Parliament, fearing for their own seats, have begun reaching out to centrists and independent voices, quietly discussing alternatives to Starmer's leadership. Some are even considering supporting a vote of no confidence if things continue to spiral. Outside, the streets tell a different story, one of growing rebellion. Across major cities like Manchester, Birmingham and London, crowds have gathered, waving signs that read "Farage for the people" and "Who the King speaks for us." It's an image no one could have imagined just months ago, a populist movement rallying behind both the monarch and a once fringe party. Social media is ablaze with videos of protesters chanting against Labour, accusing the government of arrogance, incompetence and betrayal. The polls confirm what the streets already know: the tide has turned. Labour's numbers have fallen below 25%, their lowest since the election. Reform UK now sits neck and neck, and in some regions even ahead. For the first time in modern history, a party born out of protest is within striking distance of power. Commentators are calling it the new British awakening. Meanwhile, Nigel Farage stands at the centre of the storm, calm, confident and commanding the narrative. In his latest speech outside Parliament, he accused the government of insulting the very soul of Britain. His words ring through the crowd as if echoing through the nation's conscience. When a Prime Minister wages war against the King, Farage declared, he wages war against the people. Those words hit like thunder. Even critics who once dismissed Farage as a provocateur now admit that his message has found its moment. But as Reform UK surges, the Prime Minister's circle grows darker. Behind closed doors, reports suggest panic meetings are being held at Downing Street deep into the night. Advisors argue over strategy. Should Starmer double down and defend his statement or make a public apology to save what little credibility remains? Neither option looks promising. A retraction would make him appear weak. Defiance would brand him a traitor to the nation's traditions. Either way, his authority is crumbling. The media, once divided, is now united in outrage. From conservative tabloids to liberal broadsheets, the message is the same. Starmer has gone too far. One editorial puts it bluntly, so the crown endures. Prime Minister's full public anger is not just political, it's personal. Many Britons see the monarchy as a symbol of stability in an uncertain world. To attack it, even verbally, feels like a betrayal of national identity itself. In the midst of this turmoil, the King's quiet dignity has turned into a form of power. His refusal to engage, his calm withdrawal from public confrontation, it all reinforces his image as the steady hand of tradition. Whether intentionally or not, his silence has become a statement in itself. To millions, it says, Britain will endure, even if its government does not. And so, the balance of power begins to shift. Inside Labour, loyalty fractures. Outside, a movement grows stronger by the day. Reform UK's membership has doubled in less than a week. New volunteers flood their offices, fuelled by a sense of patriotic purpose. The idea that the King might share their... A storm is tearing through the heart of Britain. A Prime Minister consumed by fury, a King accused of betrayal, and a nation standing at the edge of political chaos. What began as a private royal meeting has exploded into a full-scale constitutional crisis, one that could end Keir Starmer's leadership and shake the foundations of the monarchy itself. The country has seen scandals before, but never like this, because this time the fight isn't just between parties, and it's between the throne and the man who governs in its shadow. Inside the echoing halls of Westminster, panic is spreading like wildfire. What was meant to remain a secret conversation between Prime Minister Keir Starmer and King Charles has been leaked, and the contents are nothing short of explosive. Sources inside Downing Street describe Starmer as furious, accusing the monarch of crossing the line by privately meeting with Reform UK leaders. For centuries, the British Crown has remained politically neutral, silent, distant, symbolic. But that silence has just been broken, and the tremors are being felt in every corner of the kingdom. It all began when reports emerged that King Charles had quietly hosted a meeting with key figures from Reform UK, including allegedly Nigel Farage himself. The purpose? To discuss the future direction of Britain. On paper, it sounds harmless. But in practice, it signalled something far more dangerous. The monarch's growing dissatisfaction with Labour's leadership and an unspoken nod toward an opposition movement that's gaining unstoppable momentum. The palace has refused to comment, yet insiders reveal the King's tone was deeply concerned about the government's failures, especially as inflation rises, public services collapse, and protests erupt across the nation. When news of the meeting reached number 10, Starmer's temper reportedly erupted. What followed was a confrontation so intense, even his closest aides were left stunned. In a closed-door exchange with royal intermediaries, Starmer allegedly accused the King of meddling in government affairs and undermining the will of the people. Those words, now public, have triggered outrage across Parliament and beyond. Critics are calling it a reckless attack on the monarchy, a move no modern Prime Minister has dared to make. For Starmer, already under fire for a crumbling economy and collapsing party unity, this may be the breaking point. His attempt to portray the King's actions as unconstitutional has backfired spectacularly. Constitutional experts remind the public that the monarch is well within his right to meet political figures. His duty even to stay informed about the nation state. What Starmer has done instead is ignite a political wildfire, one that threatens to consume his government entirely. Across Britain, reactions are fierce. Newspapers are filled with blistering headlines. Even Labour-friendly media outlets have turned on the Prime Minister. One front page reads, "You don't attack the Crown." Public opinion polls tell the same story. Starmer's approval ratings have plummeted, while Reform UK's numbers have surged to historic highs. For millions of Britons disillusioned by years of empty promises, Farage's defiance and the King's subtle gesture have become symbols of courage and clarity. In pubs, on talk shows, and across social media, one question is being asked again and again. Has Keir Starmer gone too far? The answer for many is yes. The Prime Minister's outburst is being seen as a desperate act from a leader losing control, not just of his party, but of the nation itself. Inside Downing Street, the mood has turned from unease to chaos. Senior aides are reportedly at war over how to contain the damage. Some are urging an apology to the King, while others insist that backing down now would destroy what little authority Starmer has left. Meanwhile, Nigel Farage is wasting no time. Standing outside Reform UK headquarters, he declared that Britain has reached a turning point in its history. His words were met with cheers, his confidence radiating across the airwaves. A government that disrespects the Crown, he said, will never respect the people. That line alone has struck a nerve, cutting deep into the Labour narrative and resonating with millions who now see Reform UK as the movement of truth, strength and change.